Hello students, today I will discuss about large scale purification of water. I have posted a PDF file of my presentation. For better understanding, I am giving this audio related to my presentation. You can open the PDF file and simultaneously listen to my audio. Please refer the respective slides parallel to my audio explanation. This will help you to understand the subject in a better way. Let me begin. Purification of water. Purification of water is of great importance in public health. It may be considered under two headings. That is, move on to slide number 2. That is purification of water on a large scale and purification of water on a small scale. Today I will be discussing about purification of water on a large scale. Move to slide number 3. The purpose of water treatment is to produce water that is safe and wholesome. The method of treatment to be employed depends upon the nature of the raw water and the desired standards of the water quality. For example, maybe groundwater, borewell water may not need like a intense treatment, and it may need only some disinfection. If it is a surface water like river water or lake water, this requires extensive treatment as it is turbid and highly polluted. And the components of a typical water purification system comprises of one or more of the following steps, that is storage, purification and disinfection. Move on to the next slide. The first step, it is storage. Water is drawn from the source, maybe it is a river water or a lake water, and impounded natural or artificial reservoirs. And storage provides a reserve of water from which the further pollution is excluded. Means the water is drawn and it is stored. As a result of storage, a considerable amount of purification takes place, and this is a natural purification. And we may look at it from 3 points of view. That is, the first one is physical. By mere storage, the quality of water will improve, and about 90% of the suspended impurities will settle down in one day by the force of gravitation. The water becomes clearer, which allows the penetration of the light, and it reduces the work of the filters. The second point is about chemical purification. Certain chemical agents, some certain chemical changes also takes place during storage. The aerobic bacteria oxidize the organic matter present in the water with the help of dissolved oxygen. As a result, the content of the free ammonia is reduced and a rise in nitrate occurs. The third help is by storage, which occurs is biological. A tremendous drop takes place in bacteria count during storage. The pathogenic bacteria gradually die out, and it is found that when the river water is stored for say 5 to 7 days, 90% of the bacteria is reduced, and this is one of the greatest benefit of the storage. The optimum period of the storage of the river water is about 10 to 14 days. If the water is stored for a long period, there is a likelihood of development of vegetable matter or vegetable growth such as algae, which impart bad smell and color to the water. So the recommended period is about 10 to 14 days. Coming to the next slide, that is fifth slide, filtration. Filtration is the second stage in the purification of water, and quite an important stage because 98 to 99% of the bacteria are removed by filtration, and apart from the other impurities. And two types of filtration are in use, that is biological, which is called as slow sand filters, and the second one is rapid sand filter, which is also called as mechanical sand filters. Slow sand or biological filters, it is given in the sixth slide. This slow sand filter were first used for water treatment in 1804 in Scotland, and subsequently adopted in London, and during 19th century their use spread throughout the world, and even today they are generally accepted as a standard method of water purification. Coming to the next slide, here I have given the elements of slow sand filters. There are the four steps elements are there. The first element is supernatant raw water, which stands on the bed of graded sand, which is the second component. The third component is a under drainage system, and the fourth component is a system of filter control valves. In the next slide, I have given the slow sand filter image, how exactly it will be. The raw water will be supported by the sand bed. Raw water will give a continuous pressure, and different parts of these slow sand filters are labeled with code A, B, C up to J. Please go through. Coming to the next slide, the supernatant water. The supernatant water above the sand bed, whose depth varies from 1 to 1.5 meter, serves two important purposes. First one, it provides a constant head of water so as to overcome the resistance of the filter bed and thereby promote the downward flow of the water through the sand bed. And second one, it provides a waiting period of some hours, like 3 to 12 hours, depending upon the filtration velocity for the raw water to undergo partial purification by sedimentation. And a few other processes like oxidation and particle agglomeration also takes place. The level of supernatant water is always kept constant so that the pressure will remain same. Coming to the next slide, where sand bed, the most important part of filter is sand bed. The thickness of the sand bed is about 1 meter, and sand grains are carefully chosen so that they are preferably rounded and have an effective diameter between 0.2 to 0.3 millimeter. The sand particles should have an effective diameter of 0.2 to 0.3 millimeter. The sand should be clean and free from clay and organic matter. The sand is supported by a layer of graded gravel, that is 30 to 40 centimeters deep, which also prevent the fine grain being carried into the drainage pipes. The sand bed provides a vast surface area. 1 cubic meter of the filter sand provides about 1500 square meter of surface area. The water percolates through the sand bed very slowly, a process taking 2 hours or more, and it does so. It is subjected to a number of purification processes like mechanical straining, sedimentation, adsorption, oxidation, and bacterial action, all playing their part. The designated rate of filtration of water normally lies between 0.1 to 0.4 meter cube per hour per square meter of the sand bed. Coming to the next slide, here explanation is given about vital layer. When the filter bed is newly laid, it acts merely as a physical strainer, and it cannot be truly called as a biological filter. But very soon, in few days, a surface of sand bed gets converted into a slimy growth layer. It is called as smuldecke, or it is also called as vital layer, or zooglial layer, or biological layer. This layer is slimy and gelatinous and consists of thread-like algae and numerous forms of life, including plankton, diatoms, bacteria. The formation of this vital layer is called as ripening of the filter. It may take several days for the vital layer to form fully, and when it is fully formed, it extends for 2 to 3 centimeter into the top portion of the sand bed. The vital layer is called as heart of the slow sand filter because it is this vital layer which is going to filter all the bacteria that pass through this sand filter. and it may remove organic matter, holds back the bacteria and oxidizes the ammonic nitrogen into nitrate and helps in yielding a bacteria-free water. Until the vital layer is fully formed, the first few days of the filtrate is usually run into waste, because we may not know bacteria may be there, so that's why it is run as waste. Coming to the 12th slide, under drainage system. At the bottom of the filter bed, there is an under drainage system. It consists of porous or perforated pipe which serve dual purpose. That is, one, it provides the support to the filter, sand filter, and second one, it provides the outlet for the filtered water. Once the filter bed has been laid, the under drainage system cannot be seen. Filter box. The first three elements, that is supernatant water, sand bed and under drainage system, are contained in a filter box. The filter box is an open box which is rectangular in shape. The size varies from 2.5 to 4 meter deep and which is built wholly or partially below the ground, and the walls may be made up of stone, brick or cement, and the filter box consists of top to bottom respectively. The supernatant water is of 1 to 1.5 meters, sand bed is 1.2 meter, and gravel support is of 0.3 meter, and filter bottom is 0.16 meter. And here in the next slide, that is slide number 13, I have given an image depicting the sections of the filter bed. That is, you can see in the upper portion the filter sand is there, which is very fine. The size ranges from 0.2 to 0.3 millimeter, then followed by coarse sand, and then the fine gravel, and then coarse gravel. You can see here the perforated pipes are there, which allows the water to move to the next section of the filter. Coming to the next slide, filter control. The filter is equipped with certain valves and devices which are incorporated in the outlet system. The purpose of this device is to maintain a constant rate of filtration. An important component of the regulation system is venturimeter, which is depicted in the slow sand filter figure, which measures the bed resistance, or it is also called as loss of head. When the resistance builds up, the operator opens the regulating valve so that a constant pressure is maintained, and when the loss of head exceeds 1.3 meter, it is uneconomical to run the filter. Filter cleaning. How this filter is cleaned? Normally the filter may be it may run for weeks or even sometimes months without cleaning, and when the bed resistance increases to such an extent that the regulating valve has to be kept fully open, it is time to clean the filter beds. Since any further increase in the resistance is bound to reduce the filtration rate, at this stage the supernatant water is drained off and the sand bed is cleaned by scraping off the top portion of the sand layer to a depth of 1 to 2 centimeter. The operation may be carried out by unskilled laborers using hand tools or by mechanical equipments. And after several years of operation, say 20 to 30 scrapings, the thickness of the sand bed will have reduced to about 0.5 to 0.8 meters. Then the plant is to be closed down and a new bed is to be constructed. Coming to the next slide, the advantage of the slow sand filters. The first one is it is simpler than the rapid sand filter, and the cost of the construction is cheaper. Third one is the physical, chemical and bacteriological quality of the water is very high, and when working ideally, slow sand filters have been shown to reduce total bacterial count by 99.9 to 99.99% and E. coli count by 99 to 99.9%. In recent years, a mistaken idea has been grown that the biological filters or slow sand filters are old-fashioned and outdated method of the water treatment, which has been completely superseded by the rapid sand filters. So many of the countries now they have adopted rapid sand filters. Let me go to the next slide, that is rapid sand filters. Rapid sand filters are also called as mechanical filters. In 1885, the first rapid sand filters were installed in USA, and since that time, they have gained considerable popularity, especially in highly industrialized countries. Rapid sand filters are of two types, that is gravity type, for example Patterson filters, and pressure type, for example Candice filters. Both the types are in use, and following steps are involved in purification of water by rapid sand filters. Let me go to the next slide. Here you can see a picture which shows a flow diagram of a rapid sand filtration plant. Here on the left hand side, the river or pond, whatever the source of water is taken, alum is added as a coagulant, and then the water comes to the mixing chamber where the alum is rapidly mixed with help of some mechanical motors, and then the water moves on to the next chamber, that is flocculation chamber, where the slow and gentle stirring of the water will be occurring. And then the next section is the sedimentation tank, where the suspended solids will be sedimenting at the bottom, and next chamber is filtration, where the actual filtration of water will be carried out, and next, after chlorination or other kinds of disinfection, water will be cleaner and it will be allowed for consumption. Coming to the next slide, that is 17, the first step, it is coagulation. The raw water is first treated with a chemical coagulant such as alum, which is a good coagulant agent, the dose of which varies from 5 to 40 milligram, and sometimes it may be more, because if the turbidity of the water is more, you have to apply more alum. And then the next step is rapid mixing. The treated water is then subjected to violent agitation in a mixing chamber for a few minutes. This allows a quick and thorough mixing of alum throughout the bulk of water, which is very necessary. Coming to the next slide, flocculation. The next phase involves slow and gentle stirring of the treated water in a flocculation chamber for about 30 minutes. The mechanical type of flocculator is most widely used. It consists of a number of paddles which rotates at 2 to 4 rounds per minute. The paddles rotate with the help of motors, and this slow and gentle stirring of the water results in formation of thick, copious white flocculant precipitate of aluminum hydroxide, and the thicker the precipitate or flock diameter, the greater will be the settling velocity. In the next slide, sedimentation. The coagulated water is now led to sedimentation tank, where it is detained for a period of 2 to 6 hours, where the flocculant precipitate together with impurities and bacteria settle down in the tank, and at least 95% of the flocculant precipitate need to be removed before the water is admitted into the filters, that is rapid sand filters. The precipitators, these precipitated solids are removed from this sedimentation tank from the time to time without disturbing the operation of the tank, and for proper maintenance the tanks should be cleaned regularly from time to time, otherwise they may become breeding grounds for mollusks or sponges. And fifth one is filtration. The filtration step, let us move to the next slide. Filter beds. Each unit of the filter bed has a surface of 80 to 90 meter square, say for about 900 square feet, and sand is the filter medium. The effective size of sand particle here in rapid sand filter is 0.4 to 0.7 millimeter. The depth of the sand bed is usually about 1 meter, that is 2.5 to 3 feet. Below the sand bed is a layer of graded gravels, 30 to 40 centimeter, that is about 1 to 1.5 feet deep. The gravel supports the sand bed and permit the filter water to move freely towards the under drain. The depth of the water on the top of the sand bed is 1 to 1.5 meter, that is about 5 to 6 feet. The under drain at the bottom of the filter bed collects the filter water. The rate of filtration, that is 5 to 15 meter cube per meter square per hour. I'll repeat. Here in rapid sand filtration, the rate of filtration is 5 to 15 meter cube per meter square per hour. And here in slide number 22, that is in next slide, I have given a view of a rapid sand filter image, how exactly the rapid sand filters look like. Coming to next slide, the filtration. As filtration proceeds, the alum-floe not removed by the sedimentation is held back in the sand bed. It forms a slimy layer comparable to the Zuglier layer that we discussed in slow sand filters. It adsorbs bacteria from water and affects purification. Oxidation of ammonia also takes place during the passage of the water through the filters, and as filtration proceeds, the suspended impurities and bacteria clog the filters. The filters are soon become dirty. The filters will soon become dirty and begin to lose their efficiency, and when the loss of head approaches 7 to 8 feet, filtration is stopped and the filters are subjected to a washing process called as backwashing. Means there in the slow sand filters, the filters when they are saturated, they are washed, they are cleaned by scrubbing. Here a process called backwashing is adopted. Backwashing is a process where the water movement is made to flow in a reverse direction. That is rapid sand filtration. Water will be made to made to move in a reverse fashion. The washing is stopped when the clear sand is visible and the wash water is sufficiently clear. The whole process of the washing takes place about 15 minutes, and some rapid sand filters compresses the air is used as part of backwashing process. Coming to the next slide, that is advantages. Advantages of rapid sand filters over slow sand filters are: the first one is rapid sand filters can deal with raw water directly, like no preliminary storage is required here. The rapid sand filters are adapted to the city like Humnabad and Bidar. They have adopted rapid sand filters. One is there near Humnabad, on the way to Humnabad, next to Devani farm. That Karanja dam water is purified using rapid sand filters, and to the one the unit which is supplying water to the Bidar, they have their rapid sand filters near on the way to Janwada. Okay, they are not using any this preliminary storage. The second one is the filter beds occupy less space. The third advantage is filtration is rapid, 40 to 50 times better than that of the slow sand filters, and the washing of filter is very easy, and it is completely flexible in operation. It is more flexible in operation. And in the next slide, I have given a comparison of rapid and slow sand filtration. Please go through. The comparison is about the space, rate of filtration, effective sand size, preliminary treatment, washing operation, loss of head allowed, removal of turbidity, color, and bacteria. And now I am completing this purification of water on large scale species. Thank you one and all.